Yo, YouTube, man, it's your boy Adi Goes International, man, and welcome back to the channel. But if you're new to the channel, make sure you're gonna like, comment, and subscribe, turn the post notifications on to all that you never miss a single upload in the near future. Today, we're gonna read into Motorsport, explain everything you need to know. And I've been loving cricket, I've been loving motorsport, I've been loving Formula One. I guess that's like a version of motorsport. I'm not too sure. If like I'm pretty sure they fall underneath each other probably. And I'm like, I got some more information on Formula One, so let's just go ahead and get some more information about motorsport. Listen to the car lovers that been on the channel. Y'all been loving that Formula One video, bro. Trust me, bro. I will do another one. I ain't gonna lie. I seen somebody literally say, bro, do another Formula One video. Trust me, I will. But without further ado, man, let's go and get straight to the video, man. Let's learn some more about motorsports. I'm hyped, man. You know what I'm saying? All my race car lovers.
The IMSA
let's do it,
Sports
man.
Car Championship is the highest level of sports car racing in North America, featuring a variety of cars from the GTD class cars that look very similar to the cars that you see on the street.
Yes, I was literally just gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, if you don't clear all of this up in the video, what's the difference between like, okay, so like when they get a car from off the street, how did they turn it into like a car that we just seen? Like this, from the, you know what I'm saying? Like this Corvette right here. Like, how do they turn this into that? You know what I mean? If you get what I'm asking, like how?
GTD class cars that look very similar to the cars that you see on the street, to the
GTP
cars
like
where the introduction of the LMDH formula has caused their popularity to explode. But for many new fans, it can be difficult to understand what's going on out on track. That's why I'm going to take you through everything you need to know about IMSA. Now, in order to understand present-day IMSA, first we need to know a little bit about its past. IMSA was born in 1969 by John Bishop and his wife Peggy. They also received help from a pretty big name, the founder of NASCAR, Bill France Sr., to create a North American sports car.
Oh, and another question. Let me go back. Do y'all actually watch NASCAR? Because I didn't even realize they had the MotoGP, which is basically the motorcycles. I didn't even know that until like a couple days ago, and I find that so extravagant and so cool, though. I'm planning on getting into that, though.
Big name, the founder of NASCAR, Bill France Sr., to create a North American sports car series that raced on road courses. Early races were mainly Formula V and Formula Fords, and it was not until 1971 that endurance GT racing would begin. During the 70s and 80s, IMSA began to pick up steam. They picked up big corporate partners like Camel Cigarettes to establish itself as one of the premier sports car championships in North America. In fact, you could say that the 80s and into the 90s was the golden age of sports car racing, with massive grids and a lot of interest. Then notably, it also featured a GTP class. You might want to remember that. In the late 80s, founder John Bishop underwent heart surgery, which eventually led him to sell the series. This would lead to a rocky 1990s for IMSA, as it would be sold 3 more times, but things would eventually start to turn a corner. This would start to happen in 1998 when Dr. Don Panos purchased IMSA and renamed it the American Le Mans Series. The series would consist of mixed class racing, with both LMP and GT cars sharing the track. This era would also see an alignment with the ACO, who are the organizers for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And it saw the introduction of the now iconic annual Petit Le Mans race that's held at Road Atlanta. Shortly after the announcement of the American Le Mans Series came the establishment of the rival Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. Like the American Le Mans Series, Grand Am had touring cars as well as prototypes. But while the American Le Mans Series had their LMP prototypes, Grand Am had their Daytona prototypes. This was huge, as the Daytona prototype formula was much more cost effective than those LMPs. It consisted of a tube-framed closed cockpit chassis, and although you might
I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a weird take, but I like how they look though. Like, I don't know if that's a weird take. People probably, I mean, like, teach his own, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their own opinion. But my personal opinion, bro, I like how the way these cars looks. I ain't gonna lie to you, like, you know what I'm saying?
I'd argue that these Daytona prototypes were rather ugly. This ultimately formed the base for the GTP class that we now see running today. Now, despite both of these series featuring multi-class sports car racing, they did not share a schedule, and the largest endurance races in North America were actually divided up between the two series. The American Le Mans Series had big endurance events such as the 12 Hours of Sebring and, of course, Petit Le Mans. Meanwhile, Grand Am had very close ties with NASCAR before being bought out by them in 2006, so they had the Rolex 24 at Daytona as well as the 6 Hours of the Glen. Now these two series would coexist until 2012 when an announcement was made that the two rival series would come together in a merger, and a new era would begin in 2014 with what we now know as IMSA. Currently named the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, it has grown to be the premier sports car racing series in North America.
That is so crazy.
And feature some of the most prestigious sports car races in the world. During the 2014 merger, many of the classes would merge together as well, and ultimately it would feature a class structure very similar to what we have today, with 2 prototype classes and 2 GT classes. That original prototype class consisted of both the Daytona prototypes from Grand Am as well as the LMP2 prototypes from the American Le Mans series.
I got a question for y'all. Have y'all ever been to like an actual race? Like, let me know. Like, I'm curious. Have y'all ever been to an actual race and like, what was it like? And you know, like I got NASCAR, you know what I'm saying, Formula One, you know what I'm saying, IMSA. Like, what did y'all go to?
The Prototype Challenge featured the Spec Orica chassis and Corvette powered prototypes that were racing in the American Le Mans series. The first GT class, GTLM, featured touring cars from the American Le Mans series, while GTD featured the GT and GX cars from Grand Am, as well as the Porsche GT3s from the American Le Mans series. Now these classes have changed a lot since 2014, perhaps none more than the Prototype class. After going through multiple large updates, the old Daytona prototype cars will be phased out and replaced with the new DPI or Daytona Prototype International cars in 2017. Not long after that, the LMP2 cars were removed from this top prototype class and actually given a class of their own to race in. This new exclusive DPI class and the DPI formula in general would become very successful. And based on the success of these DPI cars, a second generation.
What the fuck? Like, how do you even make something like, this is, I know this is the back, but like, brother, even the back looks so like, you can tell it's a different type of car. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fire to me though. I ain't gonna lie.
Would be developed, which was initially referred to as DPI 2.0. However, not long after, it was announced that IMSA and the ACO would be coming together and announced that this new formula would be eligible to race with the Le Mans Hypercars rule set, and instead of DPI 2.0 would be renamed to LMDH. These LMDH cars would go on to replace the outgoing DPIs in IMSA starting in the 2023 season. Now, a typical race weekend does not only consist of the race. It's in fact made up of many sessions that are spread out over 3 or 4 days. Now, this schedule may vary from race weekend to race weekend, but generally speaking, the on-track action usually kicks off on Thursday with some support series practice. And when all the on-track sessions are done for the day, usually you'll see a track walk take place in the evening. This track walk is for drivers and teams to evaluate the course and see how the track may have changed since the last time they were there. Are there new curbs? Do we have any barriers that are in slightly different places? Things like that. Friday is usually when the main series takes to the track for the first time, and it features multiple practice sessions at various different points of the day. In addition to that, you'll often see qualifying and the first races of the weekend for the support series that are present. Jumping ahead to Saturday, this is usually qualifying day for the WeatherTech Championship, and it's also when we'll see any remaining support series races usually run. And then that leaves Sunday as race day for the WeatherTech Championship. Their race.
So wait, is it going on like currently right now? Like IMSA? And like what's going on right now? Probably Formula One. Or if it's not, when can I? Oh yeah, it is actually. They just had something in Las Vegas. I forgot about that. I seen it on my timeline on Instagram. I'm tripping. So wait, when does the season normally like go towards? Like go from? Like when does it start and when does it end?
Races can vary from anywhere between an hour and 40 minutes to 24 hours in length. Each and every IMSA race weekend is unique, and it can be hard to keep up with everything that's going on. That's why I created the S's newsletter. Whether you're a new fan or a lifelong one, there's plenty of useful information in this free newsletter as I send you everything you need to know heading into each and every IMSA race weekend. It's completely free and a fantastic way to make sure you don't miss any of the action over the course of the season. You can check that out by clicking the first link in the description or by heading to offinthes.com. Alright, jumping into some of the IMSA classes now, and IMSA features 4 classes on the grid: GTP, LMP2, LMP2, GTD Pro, and GTD.
Okay.
And one of the unique aspects about IMSA, as well as other sports car racing championships around the world, is that in many of the races, all 4 of these classes are present on track and racing at the exact same time. Now, all of these classes don't necessarily compete together in every single race. There are some races like the VIR round, which feature only GTD and GTD Pro classes, and there's also rounds like Long Beach, which only feature the GTP class.
What the fuck? That's a Acura? That's a Lexus? Got Ford cars, BMW. I believe that's a Corvette. Bro, what? That's a Porsche. Bro, is that a McLaren right there?
Classes, and there's also rounds like Long Beach, which only feature the GTP class and the GTD class. But we'll touch on this a little bit more when I talk about the schedule. Now, while all these classes do race together on the same track on race day, when it comes to qualifying, they get divided up into separate sessions. First up, the GTD cars take to the track for their 15-minute session to determine their starting position for the race. Now, any driver may qualify the car in GTD, but there is a benefit if the team uses a bronze-rated driver. A bronze-rated driver in general terms is a gentleman driver. If they use a bronze-rated driver, that means they can fit a brand new set of tires for the start of the race, which is a slight advantage. Following up the GTD cars is the GTD Pro class for a separate 15-minute qualifying session.
That is a
GTD
McLaren.
Pro class is the LMP2 class, and in the LMP2 class, it is mandatory to have a bronze-rated driver qualify the car. And last up are the GTP cars for their 15-minute session, and as things are with the GTD Pro class, any driver is eligible to qualify the car. Something unique to the GTP qualifying sessions, though, are that you'll see tire changes completed during the session. Teams may opt to change tires.
How did they do this so fast, gang? I ain't gonna lie, no. I remember I was like, I was a little bit younger, and I had watched like this, it was like I think my dad was like watching like this little race, and I seen like the little pit stop. I'm like, bro, how these boys moving at this speed? Like, bro, that is crazy. But man, I ain't gonna lie, I gotta watch a video on this too, bro, like pit stops and how quick it is, bro. Like, I find that fascinating, I ain't gonna lie.
Just to get another good qualifying run in. But you'll also frequently see the GTP teams scrub in a set of tires that they'll later use in the race. However, all teams in IMSA do have a limited number of tires that they're able to use in the course of a race weekend. This varies from weekend to weekend. So this generally means that you won't see them making too many pit stops during qualifying. Usually at most, you'll see a team make one pit stop for a tire change. Flipping over from qualifying to race day though, for the race, all 4 of these classes are back on track together once again. But just because they're on track and racing at the same time doesn't necessarily mean that all of these classes are racing against each other. It's important to remember that the teams are only racing for position against cars from the same class that they're in. So that means GTP cars are only racing for position against fellow GTP cars.
Oh, that makes sense.
LMP2 cars are only racing for position against fellow LMP2 cars. If you see a GTP car pass an LMP2 car or a GTD car on track, it doesn't really mean anything for the finishing result.
You know, I thought like it actually meant something. Like, I seen this before, but I didn't really know what was going on, and I thought I seen like somebody overtake somebody, you know what I'm saying, for example. And I thought, you know what I mean? Like, I thought they first place, but they might have been first place for their class. You know what I'm saying? Instead of first place for the whole race. You get what I'm saying?
Results. The only thing that matters is racing against cars that are in the same class that you are. Now, as a result of there being 4 different classes on track all at once, you'll often hear 2 different positions that may be mentioned in a broadcast. Those being overall position and position in class. Overall position is where the car is running when factoring in all of the cars on track, regardless of the class they're in. While position in class is where the car is running only considering the other cars in their own class. So for instance, you may hear of a GTD Pro car that's running 20th overall, but first in class. That means they're 20th overall in the running order, but all those LMP2s and faster GTPs are ahead of them. but meanwhile they're also leading all of the cars in the GTD Pro class. Now I mentioned earlier these races can be quite long, up to 24 hours, and they're definitely not completed by only one driver. Teams will generally use
24. What the? I did not know. Wait, so okay. So hold on. If you made this far in the video, though, bro, wait, hold on. That's a bro. Those look so. Okay. Anyways, quick question, right? Okay, so how long does like a normal? Okay, like let's say it's like a championship. Is that just 24 hours or like or is that like a couple days? Like maybe they'll start this day and then like the second day they keep on going, or like how does that work? Or is it just done in just like one whole race until it's just over? You know what I'm saying? Like how does that work? And who has the longest, like when it come down to days, like racing, like NASCAR or like Formula One or IMSA, like what's going on?
2 and 4 drivers in a car depending on the race. And there's actually a minimum and a maximum drive time that drivers are allowed to be in their car for a race. For the Rolex 24, a driver can complete no more than 13 hours in the car. For every other event, they can be in the car for a maximum of 4 out of every 6 hours of racing. And then there's the minimum drive time that's enforced at each event. Generally speaking, it just ensures that all of the drivers are in the car for about a stint, which can generally be about 45 minutes to an hour. Although for the 5 Michelin Endurance Cup races, this can be a little bit longer. Also notable and new for the 2025 season is IMSA have introduced new regulations as to what happens when a red flag affects a race. If a red flag occurs in the first half of the race, then that means these minimum drive time requirements are cut in half. If the red flag occurs in the second half of the race or takes up more than a quarter of the total running time of the race, then the minimum drive time is essentially dropped completely. Now, an ominous 3-letter acronym that you will hear thrown around the world of sports car racing is BOP. BOP, or balance of performance, is utilized in both the GTP as well as both of the GTD and GTD Pro classes. This helps to even out any manufacturer-specific performance advantages that their car might have. This is done by adjusting limits on certain car parameters such as horsepower, weight, engine management, and certain aerodynamic elements. Now, all of the cars that compete in IMSA are homologated by the FIA. This means that the manufacturers and not the teams themselves will submit the car to the FIA for approval. Now, since all the manufacturers need to do this process, it means that the performance level of all of the cars come out relatively equal. However, they're still not perfectly equal. Let's not forget that these cars heavily resemble their road-going counterparts, and thus can have different unique characteristics, engine positioning, the size of the engine that's in the car, and different aerodynamic components that all affect the handling and the performance of the car. As a result, IMSA uses this BOP to further even the playing field and make sure that one manufacturer does not have a distinct advantage that the other manufacturers don't.
That makes sense.
This BOP is generally announced in the week leading up to the race, and it changes from track to track to ensure that the performance of these cars remains as close as it possibly can. Heavy penalties can be handed out to teams who are deemed to sandbag in a previous event or practice session in order to gain a favorable BOP. Essentially, they're going slower than they could in order to try and manipulate IMSA into giving them more performance for the race. However, as each year passes, the technology gets better and better to determine what the baseline performance should be of the car, and ultimately to better set a BOP. Something that's new to IMSA's GTD classes this year are the use of torque sensors, which have been present in the GTP class cars for the past couple of seasons. Torque sensors attach to the rear axles of the car and feed the governing body constant performance information. IMSA will be able to monitor things such as horsepower, torque, and acceleration data constantly.
That's fire. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. That is fire. That is actually fire, though. They have something literally on the car. That is fire.
At the end of the day, they'll be able to quickly and easily identify any potential BOP violations that are taking place, as well as to help craft a better BOP in the first place. At the end of the day, this BOP and homologation process for the cars is essential, and one of the big reasons why sports car racing has been so successful in recent years. What it does is ensure that one manufacturer does not have a distinctly large advantage. And with this BOP and homologation process, it means that manufacturers aren't pumping millions and millions of dollars into research only to gain small fractions of a second in speed out on track. This is the opposite to a series like F1, which is constantly putting money and resources into their cars to try and extract every last millisecond of performance out on track. A couple other quick notes about the classes. All cars on track feature an illuminated number box called a leader light on the side of the car, which denotes the car's position in its respective class. All cars in IMSA use Michelin tires, and you'll frequently see the Michelin Man around the track. Weather, and specifically rain, will not stop the race as they have...
Okay. Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. No, racing is definitely was definitely something on for me, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, I don't really like street racing. Street racing ain't my thing. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it come down to professional drivers, I'll actually sit and watch that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really truly love somebody who can really show how to work the car, and they're a professional driver. They know how to drive. They know, you know what I'm saying? Of course, mistakes happen because, you know, we all human. But, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I've been sleeping on racing, man. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm finally woken up, bro, in 2025, you know what I'm saying?
Rain tires at their disposal, but if there is lightning in the area, the race will be red flagged. Regardless of how long the race is, these cars will need to make pit stops to change tires and refuel. During a pit stop, 4 crew members are allowed over the wall to do routine service, such as tire changes, refueling, car adjustments, and small repairs. There are also driver changes that take place over the course of the race, and during a driver change, an additional crew member is allowed over the wall to assist the driver in fastening seatbelts, connecting the radio, etc. During a pit stop, fueling and tire changes take place at the same time. However, since there is a minimum refueling time, this essentially...
I didn't even realize the cars was like this long. Let me see if I can pause this right.
However, since there is a minimum refueling time...
I didn't even realize it was this long. Like, when you look at them, like, yeah, they look long, but, like, I'm pretty sure it's longer. Nah, pause. What the fuck? Wait, like, oh, wait. Hold on, wait a minute. Wait. Pause though. You know what I'm saying? But, bro, this looks fire as shit though, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I've never seen like a race car actually IRL. Like, I never seen like a, like, I ain't gonna cap. I've seen like a Porsche, you know what I'm saying? But it's different when it comes down to, you know, like actual race cars. But like, let me see. What's some of the brands that I've seen, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like Mustangs, Acura, Lexus, Porsches, you know what I'm saying? I've never seen a Lamb. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. But I would love to see this in person, bro. Like, this is fire, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
This essentially sets a minimum pit stop time and ensures that crews aren't rushed to complete basic service. And honestly, all of this helps to keep costs down as a result. Some other facts about pit stops include the amount of time that a car has spent stopped in the pit stall is indicated by a timer on the leader light on the side of the car. Brake changes are also a regular occurrence at the Rolex 24 and can be done on pit lane. There are no tire blankets in IMSA, and all tires are just kept at the normal air temperature. During a pit stop, there are built-in air jacks that put the car in the air for a tire change when an air hose is connected. And after a pit stop, all of the cars pass through an RFID reader, which helps Michelin track how many sets of tires each team has used, as well as other information such as, has this team double stinted this set of tires, etc. Now, there are 2 types of yellow flags that can be deployed in an IMSA race. A local yellow will be waved for a small incident, such as a car spinning out. And when that local yellow incident has cleared, for example, the car has gone back on its way, that local yellow will be removed. A full course yellow is deployed when there is a danger to other drivers that must be cleared in order for safe racing to resume. Usually a full course yellow is deployed if there's an accident involving multiple cars that are unable to move, or if there's debris that could cause a hazard to other drivers, track marshals, or fans. During a full course yellow, a pace car is deployed, and pit stops are often performed as the stop can be completed under this full course yellow without losing a tremendous amount of time to your competitors. But IMSA handles their full course yellow procedures a little bit differently than most series do. They have a bit of a complicated process, but the procedure is all in the name of fairness. And ultimately, it helps teams from unfairly losing a lap due to the full course yellow being deployed. I will now attempt to simplify the full course yellow procedure for you. First, the safety car picks up the overall leader of the race, and every car behind the overall leader must stay in single file order behind one another. Then the first pass around occurs. This allows any cars that have their class leader behind them in the line of cars to pull out, pass the safety car, and continue driving around the track when rejoin at the end of the line. After all cars have caught up, then pit stops can take place. First, the GTP and LMP2 classes are the first to get to pit. At this time, the GT class cars are not permitted to pit. On the following lap, the GTD Pro and GTD cars may make their pit stops. Now, after pit stops are completed, there may be a handful of cars directly behind the safety car that did not pit under the yellow. As was allowed earlier, since these drivers have their class leader behind them, they are permitted to pass the safety car and continue driving around the track until they rejoin the end of the line. This is to prevent them from being almost a lap down when the race goes back to green. Now, oftentimes, cars that are a lap down or more to their class leader will take advantage of this procedure to help get their lap back. Lastly, at this point, the cars may still be mixed up with other class cars. This is when a second class split takes place. At this time, the GTP and LMP2 cars may pull out and pass the slower classes of cars to be the first ones lining up behind the safety car. What this effectively does is bunches the cars into two groups. The first group is a group of mixed prototypes, those GTPs and LMP2s, while the second group is mixed up between GTD Pro and GTD cars. The next phase happens at the same time, and during this, all of the GTPs will pull out and pass the LMP2 cars.
Okay, I mean, I'm getting the gist of what he's saying, you know what I'm saying? But once I be able to see it, I feel like I'll be able to learn way, way more. You know what I'm saying? Like once I keep on, watching MS, what is it? MSA? What is it? I forgot how it's pronounced. Oh, IMSA. That's what it is. Once I keep watching more and more and more, I would definitely get, a more of understanding. For sure.
While at the same time, the GTD Pro cars pull out and pass the GTD cars.
I feel like I'm getting this part.
This means that once complete, the order for the restart is the GTP cars, followed by the LMP2 cars, the GTD Pro cars, and lastly, the GTD cars. Now, this is slightly different than in years past. In previous years, those GTD Pro and GTD cars were often mixed together for restarts. This new process just means that we should be getting better battles, especially in the GTD Pro and GTD classes coming off of a restart, as they're not going to be all mixed up with one another. Now, when all of these class splits are complete, the race director indicates for the safety car to return to the pits and racing will resume. Now, depending on the severity of an incident, a full course yellow can last anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes in length. Now, it's generally not quite 45 minutes unless if there's a very severe incident that took place that, for instance, involved barrier repairs that need to be completed. And if there's a full course yellow that falls within the first 15 minutes after the green flag has thrown to resume racing, that will trigger what's called a short full course yellow. A short full course yellow is similar to the regular full course yellow. However, it's exactly that. It's shorter. It's made shorter because the second wave around and pit stops are removed from the process. This essentially means that there will only be a first wave around for any cars that are stuck in front of their class leader, again, so they don't basically unfairly lose a lap during this process. But then after that, the pits don't open for pit stops, and there's no second wave around after that. All of this is done in an effort to get back to racing more quickly. Now, in the rare instance that there's a full course yellow within 15 minutes of a short yellow taking place, a regular full course yellow procedure will be used. You can't have back-to-back short full course yellows. Now, at the end of the race, after all these full course yellows have taken place, there are championship points to be handed out, and these points are awarded to each and every car that finishes the race. The race winner will get 350 points, second place gets 320, third place 300 points, fourth place 280, and fifth place gets 260 points.
First place get 350 points. 350.
For every position after that, it decreases in increments of 10 points. So for instance, 6th place is going to get 250, 7th place 240, etc. Qualifying points are 10% of these race points. So that means 35 points for pole, 32 points for 2nd place, 30 points for 3rd place, etc. The overall championship encompasses points from all of the season's races. And then there's the Michelin Endurance Cup. The Michelin Endurance Cup utilizes a different point system, and in these races, points are handed out at various points in the 5 longest races of the season. For the Rolex 24 at Daytona, points are awarded at the 6, 12, and 18-hour marks, as well as race finish. For the Sebring 12-hour, points are awarded at the 4 and 8-hour marks, as well as race finish. At the 6 hours of the Glen and at the Indy 6-hour, points are awarded at the 3-hour mark, as well as race finish. And then finally, for Petit Le Mans, points are awarded at the 4-hour mark, the 8-hour mark, as well as race finish. When these points are handed out, the leader at that point in the race will get 5 points, 2nd place will get 4 points, 3rd place will get 3 points, and every other car that's running will pick up 2 points. All of these points are then added up at the end of the season to determine the IMSA Michelin Endurance Cup champion. Now, the WeatherTech Championship will feature 11 race weekends in 2025, plus their annual Roar Before the 24th preseason test. Things get kicked off for the Roar at Daytona International Speedway, January 17th to 19th.
Man, it's already
classes.
Listen, it's November.
The cars then stick around at Daytona for the Rolex 24 on January 23rd to 26th, where all 4 classes will be present. The second race of the season and second Michelin Endurance Cup race of the season will be at Sebring for the 12 hours of Sebring from March 12th to 15th, where all 4 classes will be present. We then head out west to the Long Beach Street Circuit, April 11th and 12th, where the GTP and GTD classes will be present. IMSA stays out west for the 4th round of the season at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca from May 9th to 11th. There, the GTP, GTD Pro, and GTD classes will race. Round 5 sees the series head to Detroit and the Detroit Grand Prix on May 30th and 31st. There, it will just feature the GTP and GTD Pro classes. We then head to Watkins Glen International for the 3rd Michelin Endurance Cup round of the season, the 6 hours of the Glen, June 19th to 22nd. There, the GTP, LMP2, GTD Pro, and GTD classes will be present. IMSA then heads north of the border July 11th to 13th for round 7 of the season. Here, it will be headlined by the LMP2 class with the GTD Pro.
I wonder if he's going to say, like, what was literally that just happened in Las Vegas. I wonder if he's going to, because that was, oh, wait, no, that has nothing to do with Formula 1. I'm tripping. Never mind. I mean, it has something to do with Formula 1, but this is IMSA, so never mind.
GTD class is also racing. The series then heads to Road America, July 31st to August 3rd, where the GTP, LMP2, GTD Pro, and GTD classes will race. Round 9 has the series going to Virginia International Raceway, August 22nd to 24th, where the GTD Pro and GTD classes will compete. The 4th Michelin Endurance Cup round of the season will take place at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Battle on the Bricks, September 19th to 21st. It will feature GTP, LMP2, GTD Pro, and GTD classes. Then we have the season-ending Petit Le Mans at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. That takes place August 8th to 11th and will feature GTP, LMP2, GTD Pro, and GTD cars.
All of these races can be watched on the Peacock streaming app for US viewers and for international viewers on IMSA's YouTube channel.
It's also worth noting that for all of these IMSA race weekends, except for the 2 rounds at Long Beach and Detroit, support series will be present. These support series can range from the Michelin Pilot Challenge to other fun series like the MX-5 Cup or Lamborghini Super Trofeo. And in fact, I go over the entire weekend schedule for every IMSA race weekend right here on the channel, so make sure that you're subscribed and don't miss that. Otherwise, now that you know everything about IMSA, it's time to learn a little bit more about the GTP class, and you can do that right here. Huge shout out to all the channel supporters. If you too want to support the show, you can head to patreon.com/offintheS's or click that join.
This was a good video. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Listen, if you watch this video with your boy, I'm learning. Listen, I'm learning. It's a lot of things I'm getting down because I'm learning things. It's like I'm learning a lot of sports at one time. Like right now, I'm learning cricket. I'm learning Formula 1. I'm learning IMSA. I'm learning football. Like, bro, it's a lot of things I'm learning. So just bear with me. But listen, if you enjoyed this with your boy, man, make sure you're going to like, comment, subscribe, turn the post notifications on to all so that you never miss a single upload in the near future, bro. And I will see y'all in the next video. Take care and bye. Stay hydrated. Listen, stay hydrated, stay motivated, and stay prayed up, bro. Without further ado, I'm out of here. Bye.